Hello everyone, and I'm Autobot Sonic, a Telltale Gamer, bringing listener in Telltale Games, Transformers, and more. And today we have a very big announcement in regards to Transformers EarthSpark. So it has been roughly 3 months now, almost 3 months I should say, since Transformers EarthSpark's first 10 episodes were released back on Paramount Plus in November. I hope everyone also has had a happy new year. I know I haven't really made any new videos this past month. I'm most excited for my one reaction to the very first episode of The Last of Us TV show, but in case you all have been wondering where I've been, I've just been trying to take it easy, and unfortunately right after New Year's I got really sick for a few weeks. So thankfully it wasn't COVID though, but it was my first time being sick in almost over a year since I got COVID, and I just want to focus on recovering. So but now I'm all back, and I'm really excited to talk about this brand new news we have for Transformers EarthSpark with the next 8 episodes that are going to be releasing soon. So according to an official trailer posted by both Den of Geek and the official Paramount Plus YouTube channel, we can officially expect the next 8 episodes of Transformers EarthSpark Season 1 to be released on March 3rd, 2023, which is less than a month away now, which I am super excited by. Hasbro and Paramount Plus also released an exclusive trailer that Den of Geek posted on their website that I'm going to go ahead and talk about right now, because there is a lot to talk about with this trailer, and I hope you guys are excited as I am. So if you're excited as I am, be sure to like, comment, and of course subscribe. Let's go ahead and talk about everything we can learn from this trailer for Transformers EarthSpark Season 1B. So before we dive into this trailer, I just want to talk a bit more about what we can expect from these episodes of EarthSpark Season 1 going forward. So as the article of Den of Geek describes, the next batch of episodes that will be released on March 3rd will be episodes 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18 of Season 1. So episodes 19 through 26, which will be the final batch of episodes, will probably come out, I'd imagine, some point before the summer ends, considering we had to wait about 4 months between Season 1A and 1B. I'm imagining it's probably going to be around like July, late June, early July, when the last 8 episodes of EarthSpark Season 1 come out. And we did get confirmed that Season 2 of EarthSpark is happening, which is really exciting. And the Den of Geek article even mentions that according to the Vice President of Paramount Plus, EarthSpark actually launched as one of the top 5 most watched children's series on Paramount Plus. So that's absolutely huge, and I'm really happy that EarthSpark is doing so well, considering this gives us hope then that even after Season 2 finishes, maybe we'll even get a Season 3 and hopefully a Season 4, because it's very rare for a Transformers show to get a Season 4. The only ones I think I've known and done that are G1, I think, and Rescue Bots, and technically Cyberverse if you want to get really technical. But yeah, fingers crossed that EarthSpark gets a Season 3 and 4 based on how well it's doing. So, along with this, Den of Geek has also revealed the names for the next 8 episodes of EarthSpark, so I'm going to go ahead and talk about those now. Episode 11 will be called #Oops, Episode 12, Outtakes, Episode 13, Missed Connection, Episode 14, Security Protocols, Episode 15, Bare Necessities, Episode 16, Warzone, and finally, Episode 17 and 18, Home Parts 1 and 2. So, there's a lot of episode names in here that I'm really excited by. Most likely, #Oops, which I'm sure is probably going to feature a live at #Warzone, which I'm sure is maybe going to be a pretty big, like, maybe a flashback episode to the Cybertronian War. And then, of course, the mid-season finale, which is called Home. So, I'm not exactly sure what that means. Does that mean home as in the Malto homestead in Witwiki? Or maybe does this mean that they're actually, that everyone's actually going to go back to Philadelphia, who, if you don't remember from the first couple episodes of EarthSpark, that's where all the Robbie and Mo and the rest of the Maltos are from, but they had to move when Dot got her new job in Witwiki. I have no idea, but I'm super excited to see what happens. But let's go ahead now and talk about the Transformers EarthSpark Season 1B trailer, which I'm going to go and play through one right now, again, just in case you haven't seen it yet.
Transformers EarthSpark returns with brand new episodes.
I was hoping you'd show up.
Just like old times.
Rolling out new boss.
At last, we meet again. It does not need to be like this.
That bring the heat.
Grimlock? Yes! Something's wrong!
If I wore shorts, I'd have to go change them.
Transformers EarthSpark. Stream new episodes with your family March 3rd, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
So the first thing we're going to talk about this trailer is literally the very first second of this trailer. It's only 30 seconds long, but there's still so much we can unpack with this trailer. The first shot of the trailer starts off with Bumblebee, Robbie, Mo, Thrash, Twitch, an even Jawbreaker, and this new bot all transforming in the middle of this forest at night. A lot of you may be confused as to who this bot on the left of Bumblebee is, the purple one. Turns out that is actually Hashtag. Looking closer at her face, you can clearly tell that's actually Hashtag, and it looks like she does get her alt mode at some point in this batch of episodes based on her design and all that. We actually do get to see what Hashtag's alt mode properly looks like later on in this trailer, so be sure to keep a look on that, because it's definitely not exactly what I expected Hashtag to have for an alt mode, but I do think it really fits her. These next few shots are very blink and you miss it, but it looks like it's some sort of flashback with Bumblebee being chased by some seeker in this canyon area, either early evening or morning based on the way the sun looks. The way we can tell this is a flashback is actually Bumblebee's alt mode in this. In this very brief shot, when we see this seeker fire at B, we can actually see he, instead of his I forget, they actually say what his alt mode is in episode 5, but instead of like his Camaro inspired alt mode, like he has in most of EarthSpark's episodes, in this episode he seems to have an alt mode that's very heavily inspired by a Volkswagen Beetle, which was his original G1 alt mode design. But what's interesting is that when Bumblebee transforms, we see him carrying this glowing cube, which looks very, very similar to how the EarthSpark actually looked in the Bayverse movie. So this leads me to think essentially what could this scene be about. I assume this is most likely early on in the war when Bumblebee was at a scout. Maybe, as we'll see this cube again later on in the trailer. That leads me to believe that perhaps Bumblebee worked with someone to get the EarthSpark. Now, another thing to point out here is, if you remember back in, I believe it was episode 8 or 5 of EarthSpark season of EarthSpark, Optimus tells Bumblebee that Ghost thinks that he's dead. So why would Bumblebee think he's dead? What if this is what happened? What if it's like a Transformers Prime situation where Bumblebee was trying to get the EarthSpark away from Decepticons, he ends up getting fatally injured, but the EarthSpark manages to revive him, but Ghost doesn't know about this, so to them, they think B's dead, but he ends up actually surviving. It could be a really interesting concept that I hope that they go through with, but yeah, I'm really excited to see just how, what this whole flashback scene is. I believe this may actually come up in episode 16, Warzone, since that sounds like it's going to be a flashback heavy episode. What's really interesting after this though is Bumblebee now with a more modern design, as we can tell by the door wings on his back, very similar to how they are now, shaking hands with Breakdown, who I did not expect to show up in this episode at all. So Breakdown's design in EarthSpark is heavily inspired by G1 Breakdown, as opposed to his Transformers Prime incarnation, which was a lot more bluer. He still had the orange face and yellow eyes, but he didn't have the white accents like Prime Breakdown has. So EarthSpark Breakdown is a really cool design. The cooler thing though is who is voicing him. So according to Den of Geek, EarthSpark Breakdown will not be voiced by Adam Baldwin, who voiced him back in Transformers Prime, but instead what I'm really happy with is none other than Roger Craig Smith. So this isn't Roger Craig Smith's first time in a Transformers show. He actually previously voiced Jetstorm and Slipstream, who were Drift's minicons back in Robots in Disguise 2015. And if you don't know who Roger Craig Smith is before, he's absolutely one of my favorite voice actors. He's been the voice of Sonic the Hedgehog since 2010 in pretty much all the games and cartoons since Sonic Colors. He's been the voice of Chris Redfield in Resident Evil 5 and 6, Kyle Crane in Dying Light, Ezio in the Assassin's Creed franchise, Mirage in Apex Legends, Datara in Naruto, and so much other stuff. So to see him come back to a Transformers series and voicing Breakdown, it makes me so happy. And it's really cool to see that he and B seem to actually be friends, which is really cool to see that not all Decepticons are necessarily bad, which I'm really happy. And that makes me hope that Knockout does show up at some point in EarthSpark with these batch of episodes. I know we have Darren Norris, who was Knockout's voice actor in Prime, voicing Mr. Smelt, but maybe we'll get someone else to voice Knockout, or maybe even Darren Norris will voice both Mr. Smelt and Knockout. I don't know, but I'm really hoping he shows up again. And considering we had the gay couple that Mo and Thrash saw in episode 2 of this season, we even saw, of course, Nightshade, who's non-binary, who they don't show up at all this whole trailer, which really makes me curious as to maybe why Hasbro seems to be hiding Nightshade if they're going to be playing a big role this season. But yeah, it'll be really cool to see if perhaps maybe Breakdown is like romantically involved with Knockout in EarthSpark. I would love to see that based on all the other LGBT stuff we've got in EarthSpark so far. But yeah, all in all, I'm really happy to see Breakdown. I'm really happier that Roger Craig Smith's voicing him. Can't wait for this batch of episodes. Not even after that, we get introduced to another new character coming in with this second batch of EarthSpark episodes, and that is Tarantulas. So, Tarantulas, of course, was a very big character in the Beast Wars shows, which I unfortunately have yet to see. My only knowledge of Tarantulas is actually from the IDW comics, where he was a pretty big character in the Wreckers saga comics. So, I'm interested to see what exactly Tarantulas' role will be in EarthSpark. He may be just a simple Decepticon under Mandroid's control, like we saw with Skullcruncher back in episode 2, but who knows? We see the only shot we see of Tarantulas in this entire trailer is this one right here of him transforming out of his spider mode in front of what looks to be in what appears to be some sort of graveyard area, which I'm interested to see what his role in this is. However, just like with Roger Craig Smith voicing Breakdown, we also know who will be voicing Tarantulas, and it really surprises me. So for anyone who doesn't know, Tarantulas will be voiced by Alfie Allen. So if that name isn't familiar, you may recognize him instead as playing Theon back in Game of Thrones. So that is a really, really interesting choice for me, that Paramount Plus seems to be taking a lot of Game of Thrones actors and putting them into EarthSpark. We had, of course, Rory McCann, who played the Hound in Game of Thrones, voice Megatron, and now we've got Alfie Allen, who played Theon Greyjoy, of all characters, to voice Tarantulas. And I gotta say, I'm curious to see how he's gonna sound as Tarantulas, if he'll try to sound more like how he did in Beast Wars, or if he'll just go for his own performance as him. It's gonna be really interesting to see, and I'm curious to see how it'll turn out and how he's incorporated into this show. Following that, we get two very, very, very brief shots of both Starscream and another character finally making a premiere in EarthSpark, that being Shockwave. So first off, I want to talk about Starscream here. Starscream, we see here, turns back looking up at someone with angry eyes in what appears to be some sort of hallway very reminiscent of the Ghost Prisoner hallways we saw back in episodes 5 and 8 of EarthSpark, when Optimus was taking Dot through the prison cell, showing all the Decepticons they captured. And then at the end of episode 8, when Soundwave got locked up but then released Ravage to break him out, we saw Starscream at the end. The interesting thing here is that Starscream in this shot has blue eyes instead of red eyes like he did back in episode 8. So what does this mean? Is this like implying that this is like Starscream wasn't always bad? I mean, considering though that in this shot Starscream still does have the Decepticon insignia on his wings, why does he still have blue eyes here? Is this sort of like a Transformers Prime Dark Energon thing, where anyone who interacts with Dark Energon gets red eyes, and maybe we'll learn that he did something to get red eyes in the future? I have no idea, but it's really interesting, and you just see exactly how Steve Blum performs Starscream, as we learned from the credits back in episode 8, Steve Blum is returning to voice Starscream, having last voiced him back in Prime and Robots in Disguise. Then moving on to Shockwave. Shockwave's design is very, very similar to G1 Shockwave, as opposed to many other EarthSpark redesigns that are a lot more different, I'd say. Shockwave EarthSpark EarthSpark Shockwave in my opinion, looks indistinguishable from G1 Shockwave, and the fact that, except for the fact that maybe his limbs are a bit skinnier, I want to say, that's what I get the feeling for. That only goes forward into this shot we see here of him like cornering Megatron, holding him at gunpoint with his arm, which I really like the design of the cannon, that it looks more like a stinger or a needle instead of a proper cannon like most Shockwave designs are. But this interesting thing here is where exactly Shockwave and Megatron are. We can see in between them is the same cube that Bumblebee was carrying a few scenes ago. So is this in fact the AllSpark? Did the Decepticons have the AllSpark in their control, but Megatron at this point, as we can see, this is definitely a flashback, because Megatron has the proper Decepticon symbol in his chest, as opposed to, let's say, nowadays, in the modern day storyline, I'll say, when Megatron has the Ghost logo with the Decepticon symbol inside of that instead. So, I believe this may actually be a flashback we'll be getting in episode 16, Warzone, where Megatron announces to Starscream and Shockwave and perhaps the rest of Decepticons that he's going to go talk to Optimus, take the AllSpark to him to end the war. And you can clearly see Shockwave doesn't want to do that. He doesn't want Megatron to take off with the AllSpark. I imagine we're going to see a Megatron and Shockwave get into a fight. He gets the AllSpark to Bumblebee. Maybe Bumblebee ends up dying, but then the AllSpark revives him. But no one, I should say, Ghost knows he's alive. And that allows you to go into hiding and act as sort of a spy for Optimus in the present day storyline. It'll be really interesting to see exactly how Megatron came about to accepting Optimus's peace treaty. This will be, I'm not sure if this will be after Optimus destroy the space bridge, as we learned from Alex back in episode 1, or before. Who knows, but I'm really excited to see what this involves. The next shot of interest I want to talk about is one that may not seem very important, but it actually is. Here we see what looks to be Jawbreaker holding onto this big van as it plows through a bunch of crates and seems to go out of control in this hangar. It looks very similar to the cargo bay that Optimus and Alita fought Swindle and Hardtop in back in episode 1, or even Mandroid's freighter bay where they fought him at the end of episode 10. It's interesting to see that there's also what appears to be some sort of containment field or force field over the area, so you can see those red hexagonal pattern. And what leads me to believe, though, that it was interesting here is if you look at the van's colors, it has the exact same shade of purple that we saw a hashtag with back in the very beginning of this trailer. So this pretty much confirms that this is in fact hashtag's alt mode, and I believe this may be what at least the story of episode 11 hashtag oops will be about. So I believe it will be about hashtag actually getting her alt mode, and where it looks like she gets this big van alt mode. And maybe this is like a Ghost, maybe Ghost is down investigating what happened with Mandroid after the end of episode 10. So they put up this containment field, but maybe being like troublemakers, hashtag and Jawbreaker decide to sneak in and look for fun stuff to do when hashtag maybe scans this van, but because she doesn't know how to transform, she ends up going out of control and causing chaos at the Ghost scouting site, and Jawbreaker has to try and make sure that neither of them get caught by Ghost. That's how I feel like this episode is gonna go. But yeah, it's really cool to see hashtag gets a surveillance van alt mode, and it's not something I would have expected for her. With the name like hashtag, I expect something like maybe a camera or a drone like Twitch even. The fact that she gets a surveillance van alt mode is really, really cool, and I think it actually makes sense considering she's the largest of the Terrans, so of course she would have a big bulky alt mode like a surveillance van. I'm really cool to see that, and it's interesting to see how exactly hashtag's going to be using her alt mode in this episode and the rest of the season going forward. Now, this next pack of shots many may consider to be the most important part, but it's actually in my mind the second most important part. We see basically it starts off here with Mo and Thrash looking terrified, cornered in what looks to be some sort of like makeshift arena slash ring, and you can tell this is like a ring because you see looks like a barrel on fire behind Mo. You even see Bumblebee's foot to the left here of Thrash and Mo. But what's interesting is behind Thrash and Mo, you can even see a bunch of subway trains stacked on top of each other, and it looks like there are people cheering on Mo, Thrash, and Bee. And so based on what happens next here, where we see none other than Grimlock being forced to fight against Bee, Thrash, Mo, and Jawbreaker, this leads me to believe that this is some sort of Cybertronian fight club, and I think this might be actually a cool way to end this second batch of episodes. What if at some point Mo, Thrash, and Bee and everyone here get kidnapped, they get put into the Cybertronian fight club, and they have to fight Grimlock, who either has gone feral, or maybe what if instead he's mind controlled by Mandroid like Hardtop and Skullcruncher were back in episodes 1 and 2. I think it could go either way, but it's really cool to see that we also get our first proper look at EarthSpark Grimlock, who looks very similar to G1 Grimlock. I actually do like his design compared to G1. It's interesting to see that they keep his colors, but give it his own design. And Grimlock looks massive in EarthSpark as well, compared to poor little Bee over here. But it's interesting to see, like, I'm getting, like, really big Thor Ragnarok vibes here, where at first Bee seems relieved to see that Grimlock is who they're fighting against, but then, of course, you see Grimlock start shooting fire, and you see Bumblebee, Jawbreaker, and Thrash all running around trying to stop Grimlock and dodge him, while you see all the people, like the humans, around them cheering them on. So I believe, yeah, this may be some sort of Cybertronian fight club, and it's really interesting to see the context of this, because we don't really know how the general public of the world thinks of Transformers. We know, of course, that Transformers are common knowledge as gets told by Alex in episode 1. We also saw back in episode 7 when Robbie and Mo go to school that Mr. Smelt actually teaches Cybertronian history, as they have like textbooks on Cybertronian history. But do all humans actually like Transformers? So this leads me to believe that perhaps maybe there is some sort of low-key racism going on in Transformers EarthSpark, and that's something I'm really hoping to see explored in EarthSpark. And considering how well they did other mature subjects such as Nightshade being non-binary, I'm really interested to see though how they handle human Cybertronian prejudices in hopefully whatever this episode is, this may actually be the two-parter, Homes Part 1 and 2, where maybe it would be cool. What if they go back to Philadelphia? I think it's gonna be all sunshine and rainbows, but turns out everyone there is super racist towards Transformers. They get put into this Cybertronian fight club, and they have to fight Grimlock to stay alive. That would be really cool to see. Now, you may think that it was the most important and final thing that we get from this trailer, but no, there's like one small thing, and it doesn't really look it doesn't really seem like it would be important, but actually it is. So we see here where it's just Thrash and Robbie, where Thrash is talking about saying that he may need like a change of pants after being scared by something. It just seems like a normal like ending line to a kids show trailer. But what's interesting is what is right in front of Thrash and Robbie, and that is Shockwave's body seemingly dead in front of them. So is Shockwave truly dead here? Maybe this will be a flashback where maybe Thrash and Robbie go to the Decepticon base, wherever they were. They find Shockwave's dead body, then we get a flashback showing how maybe Megatron killed Shockwave. Is that what it is? Do Robbie and Thrash actually come across Shockwave's dead body, or is perhaps maybe Shockwave still alive, and instead they have to fight Shockwave and just barely manage to defeat him? I have no idea, but man, if they really go ahead and just kill Shockwave off, then Megatron ends up having to have killed him, that's gonna be really, really interesting, and I'm hoping it would be really cool if that's it. I know a lot of people probably wouldn't like to see Shockwave just killed off in a flashback after one episode, but I think that would be really cool to see happen to a former Shockwave, considering it's cool to see such like a big version of Shockwave like this go out in such a minuscule way. I mean, I know we had Cyberverse Shockwave who died trying to corrupt the EarthSpark, but it'd be cool if perhaps maybe that was Megatron's turning point to joining the Autobots, and that he ended up killing Shockwave, and that really cemented himself as an Autobot to Optimus and the rest of them by killing Shockwave. That would be really cool, but yeah, that's really all we can tell. We guess we'll just wait until the episode comes out. And so that is pretty much everything we need to know about Transformers EarthSpark Season 1B, which will be covering episodes 11 through 18 of Season 1. As I said at the beginning of this video, Season 1B of EarthSpark will be released on Paramount Plus in just a month from now on March 3rd, and I am super excited for this. I'm super excited to see Shockwave, Grimlock, Roger Craig Smith's breakdown, learn the flashback with Bumblebee and Megatron, see what the Cybertronian fight pit is about with Grimlock, and so much other stuff. I'm definitely going to be putting out at least one more EarthSpark video though in the coming month before it premieres, so be sure to keep an eye out on that. And yeah, I'm super excited for this. If you're excited as I am for the next batch of EarthSpark episodes, be sure to like, comment, and of course subscribe, and I will see you guys later.